the Olympics. And I know we try hard. I mean, not try hard, but we know how discussing COVID could kind of make us feel on the show. It is a very important topic to discuss, but we understand that it's not necessarily the most pleasant thing to discuss. But I have to bring it up with regards to the Olympics. I have flip-flopped on what I thought if the Olympics are even going to happen, and now I think I am firmly in the camp that says they really should not happen. And this comes after the NHL sends out that memo to teams saying that, telling them to cancel all these different team events they've got planned, especially for the holidays. The day we're recording, the New York Islanders are supposed to make their return back from all those games being postponed due to COVID. Tyler Bertuzzi of the Detroit Red Wings, who infamously went unvaccinated to start off the year, is now in COVID protocol. Yeah, that too, on top of that. On December 2nd, 2021, I believe, maybe a month out from the opt-out date? You could tell me if I'm wrong on that. Where do you stand on the Olympics being a thing, and what might have you heard about, players feeling comfortable going to the Olympics or the league stance on this? Like right now, December 2nd, what are you thinking about the Olympics?
What's interesting about the way you frame this, Julian, is a lot of my conversations I'm having with people in hockey go to this topic right now. I mean, because it is pretty clear, and if there is a world where there is the Olympics, we're talking about Olympic teams being named in like 6 weeks. Like, it's not that far off. So it's becoming into view. But so many people inside the sport, I'm talking agents, people work for teams, don't want to out anyone else, but just key people around hockey are saying what you're saying. Like, they're getting to the point where they're like, I don't know if this makes sense. Like, I think most people want this. I get the NHL owners might not, but I think fans like it. It's clear the players really want to go. It's not a case of that. This isn't, but I get the sense that everyone's looking at what's going on in the world, and you can't ignore the rising COVID numbers. There's a new variant. The league itself, like, we've had two teams, Islanders and the Senators, shut down in November, but there's a lot of players and coaches and people, staff for teams that are in COVID protocol. Those teams haven't been shut down, but this is touching almost every team in the league to some degree. And, I think there's real concern about what the winter is going to look like. Like, I try to be an optimistic person. Like, that's how I feel by nature, but it's hard to ignore the fact that people are going to spend time just everywhere with their families at the holidays, as they should. It gets colder, so we're inside more. Like, I just think the conditions for transmission are high. And it seems that we're seeing, especially in Europe right now, the numbers are really climbing. And what have we learned in the last 2 years? Like, everything affects everything else. The world is so interconnected now. Like, what's happening in Switzerland today is going to happen in Canada tomorrow, or what have you. And so I think that there's real skepticism that they're going to be able to pull this off, which isn't to say the decision's made or that anyone knows for sure. Really what's going to happen, like, we're going to keep talking about this, of course, as we should, but I think they're just going to take it till January 9th or 10th when they have to make that call and see where everything's at and make a call, like, make a decision. Like, I don't know that you can make the decision today. The only way you could make it is if 5 teams were shut down and you just knew for sure you weren't going to get the schedule in. But that's not the case. And, I'm very skeptical, and I have to say, I'm not the only one. And I'm talking prominent people that want to see this happen, but just feel like it's not going to be possible. And so I really hope I'm wrong. I love best on best hockey. I want to even talk to you about, like, who's going to make Team Canada and all that stuff. But you have to sort of do it in this parallel universe, because we can't ignore what's in front of us. And I sense, like, real legitimate skepticism, even going back to August, but it's picking up steam right now. And, it might just not be possible. Look, for the last 2 years, I've wanted to see my friends or see my family or go to this restaurant or this bar, or whatever. And we haven't been able to do a lot of that. We went to a lot of games with no fans, right? I never want to be in an NHL game without fans again. But we might have to, honestly. Like, I hope it doesn't get to that point, but I could certainly see in Canada, with just sort of where the modeling's at, we'll see how everything works out, that they might have to reduce capacity in arenas again. Like, we're not through this thing, unfortunately. And so, we're not even getting into the political stuff in China as part of this discussion. And that's not that I'm leaving that aside. But like, it's hard to, I think what really threatens from the NHL side of things is just the health situation, COVID, all that. But there is political discussion there too. Ultimately, it'll be a miracle, in my opinion, if they can pull this off. But I hope they do. I'm actually cheering for that. I want to see a tournament. I don't care who wins. I just want to see all the best players playing against each other. I want to see, Sidney Crosby playing left wing on Connor McDavid's, left side there. I want to see how that looks. I want to see Austin Matthews and the U.S. team, what looks like they could win gold. I want to see Victor Hedman, finally represent his country after missing out in Sochi and then becoming the best defenseman in the world for a period of time. Anyway, I want to see it all, but I have my doubts that it's going to happen.
Two things. One, the notification sound you just heard is not the 30-minute bell. Two, it is totally fine to, show apprehension over the idea of NHL players going out to Beijing for the Olympics due to the COVID cases. It's fine to do that and also want the idea that, hey, I want to see this tournament happen. I want to see best on best against each other.